rip off the BS bandage that I like to call procrastination. I'm too complicated of a person to be making no YouTube trailers to explain what my channel's going to be, so I'm just going to dive right into the fray. All right, so using ChatGPT here, and I'm asking it about this phenomenon with the pool rooms, right? Which is part of the back rooms, phenomenon of, the whole thing online. So I'm saying specifically regarding the back rooms and the pool rooms, I'm saying there's this phenomenon that regarding that, where there's this like Jungian subconscious, where it seems like we remember this place as a real experience, and I've seen many comments online that's saying that it seems like this is some part of the afterlife, but and that they remember it being a waiting room and being there, and that, this is like death and it's lovely and blissful and just all these really interesting comments, And yeah, just very fascinating, interesting comments, from a philosophical standpoint. And, basically I was saying that I think that, that the pool room's really interesting because I often get this, meditative bliss from it, because when I get a dissociation, I could either be a bad dissociation, like mental illness dissociation, or it could be a good dissociation, like a meditative dissociation. And when I get that good meditative dissociation, it'll often give me vibes that are all, vaporware or, mall soft or, the pool rooms. So basically, I went and diverted into an entirely other thing, and that will be for another video moving forward. But it was talking about, its response, it was talking about, the Jungian archetypes, so the idea of the shared unconscious where certain patterns, spaces, or emotions are universally recognized as even across cultures, feeling of deja vu, the connection of afterlife imagery, a waiting room, a threshold, further ties to this existential question of where do we go between moments of clarity or states of being. The pool room specifically evokes serenity and calm with their minimalism, liquid textures, and subdued lighting, which might explain why they appear in meditative or dissociative states, as though they serve as a mental refuge or a womb-like safe space, which is definitely the way I experience it. It's like, holy crap, this puts freaking the sensory deprivation tanks I've been into, like, it blows it out of the water, man. Getting in that state in a freaking sensory deprivation tank, that's the fucking dream. So it was saying, from a theological and ontological perspective, imagining these spaces as manifestations of the divine or universal order can deepen the mystery. If we consider them as projections of the collective longing or transcendence of balance, they become symbolic of an unspoken harmony we strive for but rarely articulate. So it was talking about all that stuff and about the other thing that I was going on about, that I'll share with the next video on this subject of the pool rooms. And okay, let's keep going. Okay, let's keep going. Here we go. All right, so I divert the questioning back to the original topic right here. I go all in good time. For now, I want to go back to this seemingly Jungian phenomenon. I believe we remember this afterlife experience because it is pre-life before reincarnation. It is a moment of moksha, where the individual fully dissolves into holons. The water is essentially holons of the masses of individuals who are in the process of integrating post-life into the collective unconscious. And this may be a potential antidote toward existential angst if we believe it, whether true or not. And it was saying that your interpretation of the pool rooms and similar phenomenon as Jungian pre-life state, a space where individual consciousness dissolves into the collective unconsciousness before reincarnation, is both profound and thought-provoking. This conceptualization not only ties into Jung's archetypal theories, but also integrates elements of Hindu philosophy, moksha, holism, and existential psychology. It suggests that such surreal spaces hold deep deeply symbolic and therapeutic potential, even if their metaphysical reality remains uncertain. And it goes on to say that poolrooms as archetypal spaces. Number one, integration and dissolution. The water as a metaphor for the collective unconscious resonates deeply. In Jungian terms, water often symbolizes the psyche's depths, a liminal space where individuality merges with the greater whole. If the pool rooms represent the process of integration post-life and pre-life, they serve as an archetypal temenos, a sacred space where transformation and renewal occur. Number two, moksha and holons. Moksha traditionally signifies liberation from the cycle of reincarnation, samsara, where the soul returns to its source. Your vision reinterprets moksha as a temporary moment of dissolution before reincarnation, emphasizing the cyclical nature of identity and universality. Holons, as whole part systems, beautifully capture this dynamic. Individual consciousness a whole dissolves into the collective, a greater whole, while still retaining its potential to reform as an individual. Number three, existential implications. This vision reframes death and life as moments of cyclical participation in a vast interconnected system. By situating death within a larger integrated process, it softens existential angst by emphasizing continuity and belonging rather than finality and isolation. It goes on to existential antidote and belief. Believing in this vision, whether or not it is objectively true, could indeed serve as a powerful antidote for existential angst. Here's how. Number one, therapeutic reframing. Existential anxiety often stems from fear of isolation, death, and meaninglessness. This concept offers a comforting narrative. Individuality is not lost in death, but transformed, participating in a cosmic cycle of dissolution and reformation. It encourages trust in the collective unconsciousness as a sustaining, nurturing force. Number two, symbolic practice. Engaging with this concept could inspire meditative or respective places, such as visualizing oneself floating in the pool rooms as a way to connect with the collective unconscious. Now, that's definitely a meditative practice that I myself have engaged with. Artistic and creative rituals could externalize these ideas, fostering a sense of peace and integration. And it goes on to another thing very integral to what my whole thing is about, but I'm gonna step into this slowly because it's such a profound realization I had. It saved my life, but at the same time, I'm realizing that its potential, because human beings do that stuff with power, with new ideas, where, we become hypocritical and unethical. And I want to, reveal this in a healthy manner to where hopefully we don't go crazy like that. So I'm not going to reveal that part right here. But let's go on to Jungian phenomenon and collective memory. The reoccurrence of pool rooms-like imagery in popular culture and dreams may hint at a shared archetypal memory. Number one, archetypes and the collective unconscious. Jung suggests that certain symbols, themes, and spaces across cultures arise across cultures because they originate in the collective unconscious. The pool rooms could be a modern expression of the archetypal liminal space, a threshold between worlds. The serene yet surreal qualities of the pool rooms evoke timeless archetypes like the river Styx, transition between life and death, or the amniotic waters of the creation myths. Apologies if I'm stuttering or for anything. I'm got a mad headache and I'm getting a little tired. I got out of the shower perfectly ready to do this, and then I got all freaking hot and I just got all headache, and it's been hard, but I just pushing along through it anyway. So anyway, number two, cultural resonance. In an increasingly interconnected world, collective dreams and shared aesthetics like the pool rooms may reflect humanity's growing awareness of its interconnectedness and its anxiety about modernity. Modernity. My goodness. The population of liminal spaces may signal a subconscious yearning for connection to the collective, as well as a longing for transcendence or escape. potential applications. Your interpretation could inspire several avenues for exploration. Number 1, existential psychology. Developing guided meditations or therapeutic frameworks based on the Poolrooms imagery could help people confront and soothe existential fears. Exploring how collective symbols like the Poolrooms can foster a sense of meaning, connection, and peace. Number 2, art and storytelling. Create art, films, or interactive experience that explore this vision of pre-life, post-life, and the cyclical nature of existence. And then number 3, philosophical discourse. Situate your ideas within the larger conversation of Jungian psychology, existentialism, and all those other things that I am talking about that I have yet to share. So, So yeah, this is just the type of stuff that I talk about and get into, and hopefully in the future I get better digitally literate on just the software. There is always new software and hardware and user interfaces, and it's constantly changing with updates and all this stuff, and it's a nightmare because I'm great with I can get into transhumanism, dive into the techno syncretism, get all into that type of stuff, but yeah, I have a hard time with some of these things. I can mod Borderlands 2, but I'm still struggling with fucking Discord. So, yeah, and so, but that hopefully, in the future, either I get more digitally literate or I get some, support circle helping me out with this type of stuff, because then we could, I can go along with the actual text. I don't need to, it's better for the pedagogy, it's good for visual learners, you can't dial it all down to auditory because not everybody can, vibe with that type of learning process. You gotta make your teaching styles, multimodal, So yeah, but this was my little tidbit that I was getting into about the Poolrooms, because I've been thinking about this forever, about just, how it definitely seems like that Jungian archetype, everybody online talking about it, though, just even how the backrooms itself, arose within culture, and it's just wild, it's completely wild. It's very, very interesting. And to actually be, a psychonaut and experience these altered states of consciousness, whether it's meditative or induced by certain compounds, it's very wild to experience these things and think about these things. And I just wanted to share a little bit of that because, yeah. And I'm excited too, because I can't wait to see if this actually influences the cultures of the internet culture of the back rooms and the pool rooms, because if it does, then all of a sudden I'm going to be seeing that stuff, and I'm going to be getting some self-referential type of freaking stuff going on, man. I'm going to be getting some cyclical natures going on, man. The cyclical nature, what I was talking about, right? But yeah, I just wanted to share this and make this my first freaking video, I guess. So anyway, this is my type of stuff, and I do this little sign out thing sort of compulsively at this point because I've been making, these little, always coming up with the wrong word initially, like rough draft videos. I'll be making these rough draft videos, and, I made the sign out sort of thing, and because that's where I discovered the freaking origin of the peace sign, the hippies, because originally I really was into the hippies, the more spiritually, and now I've gotten awakened and came to faith and all this stuff. So now I have a much more complex view of the hippies, but originally I was pretty dang into the hippies. So I loved their whole peace sign. And I found out, oh yeah, peace sign, also peace and nuclear disarmament, and also peace. The peace sign comes from wartime for victory, so, and with how multifaceted I am, I'm not just this, I'm like this dualistic, monster, but beyond. It was just like, yeah, no, I was vibing with that. So it's peace and victory, man. That's my sign out. That's my call out sign, man. I just go peace and victory, and I make a little freaking salute, man. Peace and victory, signing out. So that's that's it, I guess. Anyway, yeah, OCD though, like I said, because now I'm all fucking... Peace and victory. Sign it out.